Welcome back to the channel, and you are joining us after the Easter break and bank holiday weekend. And it's another surprise in store, or maybe not a surprise, some could argue maybe the inevitable, that there are further ramifications of the collapse of MBH Corporation. If you remember from my last video on this subject, that had gone into administration just a few weeks ago. Now, at that point, a couple of dealers that were under their holdings did fall into administration themselves. I think it was Lincoln Leisure Vehicles, and I think it was Robinson's Caravans Chesterfield. Had both almost immediately disappeared. Well, the news today is that on Thursday, just before the Easter bank holiday, so the 28th of March, the other big dealer in their network, White Archers, based down in Northamptonshire here near us, did file for administration themselves. So both White Archers and PN Sharp Limited, that holds the ownership of both White Archers and their motorhome site closer to Wellingborough, have gone. So administrators were appointed. Now, interestingly, they were very quick to find someone to buy out the company. And the news is that Spinney Caravans, Motorhomes, they are looking to buy and have agreed to buy the White Archers sites. Now, this is an interesting move because Spinny have recently taken over one of the Broadland sites. They'd made a bid for one of their locations over in Warwickshire. So Spinny now, as well as being in Cheshire, Staffordshire, Flintshire, have recently just expanded into Warwickshire and opened that site on the old Kenilworth Broadland location. It looks now that they are moving into Northamptonshire. So they are becoming quite a force and a key player in kind of sustaining the leisure vehicle network right now across the Midlands and the North. So interesting times. Now, friends of ours, they bought their caravan through White Archers, and we've just been away with them, our friends Jenny and Lorraine. They had their caravan in for its habitation check and service and some repair work just a couple of weeks ago. And when they visited the site, they discovered that much of the work that should have been done on the vehicle hadn't been, or had been completed incorrectly. And they had a bit of a job getting their caravan back last week. Fortunately for them, they have managed to pick it up again just before this happened. So they reported that a lot of stock was missing, the showroom was quiet at that point. I've not been down there for a few weeks myself, but it did feel like the inevitable would come, because at the time of MBH going, White Archers did say that they would need to secure further funding. Which was interesting because in another statement that also said that they weren't reliant on MBH, but clearly the current climate, the current market is showing that, sadly, there are some casualties. Now, this is not an uncommon thing. We are seeing it in lots of places where the manufacturers are in effect dumping their stock and their supply of new vehicles, whether that be caravans or motorhomes, down onto the dealers. And I can give some examples. So just while we've been away this past week, we saw that Farnham Caravans over in East Anglia near Ipswich, they were absolutely flooded with brand new Baileys. Their whole forecourt is full of their kind of order book of new Baileys for sale, with all the banners of sales now on and discounts across the piece. This was the same at White Archers. If you remember, in one of my videos, I did a review of some caravans down there, and they were discounting those with several £1,000s off at that time. We visited Brownhills, you'll have seen in one of our other videos, and we saw there that they probably had something like 50, 60, maybe 70 brand new Eldest motorhomes and camper vans all over their site, as well as their other new brands like Swift and Auto Trail and Adria. an absolutely rampacked showroom and not an inch to spare in any of their forecourts. And one of the salesmen there who we've dealt with in the past was explaining that they've had to buy in their stock and it's landed now. So this seems to be a common thing. We saw the rate they were knocking them out the Swift factory. So I think the dealers who can sustain holding on to that stock possibly are the ones that might survive or have got the purchasing power. But I think for some dealers that perhaps can't sustain the high cost of what new caravans are, and motorhomes haven't slowed down either, they're probably sitting on a lot of stock. And the economics of that in a market that is challenging for some people, you can now see why perhaps used vehicles are selling well, particularly caravans, because of their price point, particularly heading into the summer for families and couples wanting to do some touring. Of course, the cost of the new ones is much higher than it has been for many years. And maybe that is just pushing some people too far out of the market. And therefore, we're seeing the likes of White Arches entering administration. Very interesting times, very sad times. But hopefully there is some light at the end of the tunnel for White Arches if they have got this new buy from Spinny. So that could be a welcome sight locally, as well as down the road in Warwickshire. So keep an eye on this one. Lots of moves and shakes once again in the leisure vehicle market. So having a little wander down to White Arches today, they are trading, and I guess that's because they are being bought out. Very quiet this morning. One thing I did notice is the forecourt looks more depleted than normal. So some of the new stock that normally fills their front forecourt is not there. And the caravans that they do have on offer from Coachman and Bailey and Swift, there are some big reductions on those at the moment across the board on the new stock. So if you are in the market, I guess it could be a good time for you if you are looking to change. Be interesting to see what happens, because currently White Arches operate out of 2 sites. The motorhomes are down the road on the A45. The caravan centre is just on the edge of Rushden and on what is an industrial estate on the edge of town. So it'd be interesting to see if Spinny consolidate into one site, which I think is possibly practical and possible. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. But interesting, isn't it? It's good to know that there's a known name coming in and is going to be taking on the business, and it means that we do retain a main dealer in this part of the world, because there isn't another one. If you want to go for another main dealer, you're off to the far side of Northamptonshire, Warwickshire borders. You're off north or into Peterborough that way. So I'm glad to know that there is a main dealer nearby. Secondly, the accessory shop and things that many of us rely on for a lot of our supplies will still be there. We do like to support that sort of business, not everything from Amazon. So let's see, but interesting times, and we'll keep you posted if we know any more. Now, for a fuller kind of analysis of all this, Andrew Jenkinson of the Caravan Expert channel, if you've not come across him, Caravan Industry Expert, he's got some very insightful views on this and has got a lot of links with the leisure vehicle trade, if you like, and dealers. So keep an eye out for his channel, because I know he has been giving some interesting updates and perspectives on what is happening right now in the market, but also some interesting parallels to where the industry has been in the past. I found it very informative, and I know he's got his finger on the pulse with these things. So I'm going to pop this video out for you. I'm busy editing our trip away to Suffolk, and we'll get that one up as soon as possible too, so look out for that. As ever, thanks for tuning into our channel. Please consider hitting the subscribe, give us a like. I will happily answer any questions too. And thank you for watching and sticking with us, and we'll see you soon.